After biking for 10 days, starting from the Netherlands, I have arrived in Copenhagen. As you could have seen in my previous video, I already explored the city for a bit, but in this video I will visit more of the highlights of this beautiful city. I will go to Tivoli, the city hall, the round tower, the Botanical garden, Rosenborg, Magasin du Nord, and of course Nyhavn. And I, at the end of the day, go again to Tivoli to see all the beautiful lights in the park. So, let's start. I began my day with a breakfast in my hostel and then I headed over to my first stop, the hop-on hop-off bus, which took me along the main highlights. And as I was still pretty tired of my bike trip that had ended the day before, sitting in this bus was a perfect start of my day. I knew that I would explore all of these highlights by foot later on this trip, so for now, just relaxing and enjoying the views was more than enough. I could really relate to this poster. Sitting in the bus was nice to give my legs some well-deserved rest. But it is also just really nice to start your trip with this, as it gives you a great overview of the place you are at. You, for example, get an idea of how long the distances are between the spots you want to visit, and you can enjoy the vibe of the city as you can just sit and relax. After the nice tour, it was time to get off the bus and get my feet to work. First, I encountered a Lego shop which I had to see from the inside. Then I decided, as it was nice weather, to visit the one thing which I was looking forward to the most, which was Tivoli. And for the ones who don't know what Tivoli is, like me before I visit Copenhagen, Tivoli is an amusement park in the center of Copenhagen and it is one of the oldest in the world. And believe me, although it's old, it's still very, very beautiful. Come have a look with me. As I'm really a fan of amusement parks and flowers and Disney and so on, you can imagine I really loved this place. Besides the attractions, throughout the park you will find eateries where you can buy all kinds of food and candy. Like for example here, this really fascinating flavors of popcorn. And I must say, even if you're not a fan of the attractions, just walking through the park is so enjoyable. The park has this nice cozy vibe as there is a lot of green and the buildings are really beautiful crafted. And despite that I, as a sweet tooth, have filmed all kinds of sweets, there are also normal food options. The park has all kinds of different areas, decorated in different styles, which means that walking around here never gets boring. Next was the China area, which was again beautiful. I think I literally walked through the park more than 3 times, and each time I saw something new or found a path that I hadn't seen before. The park thus isn't super big, so if you aren't a fan of the attractions, you can see everything in a couple of hours. And I would definitely recommend spending this time there and don't rush your visit too much, because just wandering around here at a slow pace is already really nice in my opinion. If you do want to go on some of the attractions, it's good to know that besides the entry ticket, you also need to pay separately for most of the attractions. And I heard you could buy like an unlimited pass or something, so check it out before you're going there. Back to me wandering around in the park, I bumped into this beautiful friend, which I tried not to scare too much, although I had to go in that direction. And as you can see, the park has also a beautiful flower garden, where I decided to sit for a while, enjoying everything around me. Perhaps some people who see this video think I'm really overhyping this park, but small eateries decorated like this I already enjoy a lot. So, based on this video, you can judge for yourself if Tivoli is something for you or not. Visiting one of the souvenir shops, it was good to remember myself that I had arrived by bike, so that I couldn't buy too much souvenirs. Having bought some small things, I bumped into this hidden attraction, and I must say, I feel Tivoli has a lot of these small surprises, which I really like. Then it was time for a snack, and of course I chose something sweet. With chocolate coated waffle with some sprinkles. And however I bought this one to go, there are also a lot of places where you can just sit down and have something to eat or drink slowly. And there are also multiple shopping options, which I of course wanted to check out. Before leaving the park for now, I went to the bathroom, and yep, even the bathroom is special. Having spent a couple of hours in this beautiful park, leaving wasn't so hard, as I had decided to come back in the evening, because I read online that you can then enjoy all the lights that had decorated the park. So I'm coming back. Outside of the park, I directly got distracted by, yep, something sweet. Next was the City Hall, which I didn't really plan on visiting, but when I passed it, it attracted my attention and turned out to be beautiful, both outside as well inside. And you could visit it freely. As I had wandered around in the city hall, I continued my route into the shopping area, where I, of course, as always, visited some nice supermarkets. Like again, another candy store, and here the variety of chocolate bars grabbed my attention in particular because they had so many flavors. Normal was the next shop, and although I know that we have this shop also in the Netherlands, I couldn't remember visiting it there, so that's what I did here. And I must say, even if you don't really enjoy these kind of shops, walking in these streets is already a nice experience as there are many cute squares and a lot of colorful houses. After walking around for a bit, I decided to buy a hot dog, as I read online that the ones in the small street spots are really nice, so I went for it and I must say, it was worth it. As I finished my hot dog, I visited a church right next to the round tower, which I entered afterwards, and both were beautiful. The walk all the way up was doable and you are rewarded with a nice view at the top. Having enjoyed the views for a while, it was time for something else to enjoy, namely sugar nuts. As the guy was making them fresh, as a sweet tooth I couldn't resist the smell. And I didn't regret it as they tasted really good. Next on my list was the Botanical Garden, which was nice, but I guess it would be a bit nicer if the sky wasn't so grey and there would be some more people, as now it was a bit empty and not so cozy. However, you can visit the external part freely, and I think I would recommend it as it was still a nice experience. If you want to visit the glass house, you however must pay a small fee. Beside the Botanical Garden, you can find Rosenborg, a castle which houses some of Denmark's greatest cultural treasures. And also the castle itself is worth a visit. What I really liked about this castle is how unique each room is, which makes it you have a lot to see. Going downstairs, you find the treasury, and here is again a lot to explore. And I must say, the dark hallways add up to the mysterious vibe. Having left the castle, I witnessed this military ritual, and afterwards I luckily jumped on the bus right before it started to rain. And this walking past, which also kept me dry, brought me to the Magasin du Nord, which is a big warehouse where you can also eat on the top floor, and that is what I did, after I of course also wandered around in the shop. With a nice view on the theater and the square, I had a traditional Danish lunch, smørrebrød. And I had one with egg and shrimp, which was delicious. But as you can see, there are plenty of other food options. As I had finished my lunch and went outside, I again found another candy shop which looked really cute. On the main square I found this botanical artwork, which I found really cool. And then I finally went to, I guess, the most famous spot of Copenhagen, Nyhavn. And however the sky was grey, the houses didn't disappoint. I liked them. But as I had some more days here and I had planned to go to Tivoli in the evening, I didn't stay for too long this time. So after enjoying the houses and the people walking by, I took again the route through the shopping area, which brought me back to Tivoli. You might wonder why I'm specifically today going again to Tivoli. And perhaps you also wonder how I managed to go to all these highlights and also use the hop-on hop-off bus. Well, I'm doing that because I bought a Copenhagen card for 48 hours, which includes entry to almost all the highlights. And therefore I'm not really second thinking about going to highlight, but I'm just going because it's included in the price already. And so is Tivoli. It only includes entry for one day. So if you want to visit it by day and in the evening, you have to do it on one day. So that's what I'm doing. And by the way, I really recommend such a card because it's just way cheaper if you want to do a lot of things in Copenhagen. And as you will see, I don't regret going there for a second time. As while walking there, it's getting darker and darker. The cozy vibe with all the lights increases more and more. And yep, I found yet another candy shop. Wandering around through this beautiful scenery, it really feels magical, kind of like you're walking in small Disneyland. Then it was time to eat, and therefore I decided to go to the Tivoli food hall, which is located on one of the edges of the park. And here you have many food stands where you can order your food, which all looked really good. And good to know, you can also eat here without visiting Tivoli. I went for a very filling salad as I felt I could use some veggies after my sweet day. After finishing my dinner, I walked around the park for the last time and I again found some cute spots that I hadn't seen before. I guess I could really walk here for days. As the lights give a total different vibe to the park, I would really recommend going both by daylight and in the evening. However, it was completely dark at this point, the attractions were still running. And again, a candy shop. I should have counted them. I personally find the amount of details in this park really incredible. And yes, I'm also not complaining about all the sweet food options. So for dessert I had these churros with chocolate. Walking for the last time through this cute street, which I literally had already passed for like 6 times, I made my way to the fountain show, which is every evening. Can you think of a better ending of this day than a fountain show? No, right? And then it was finally time to say goodbye for good and make my way to the hostel. And that was it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as it really supports me with making my videos. And then I'll say see you in the next one, where I'll be back in Copenhagen.